I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Julpy. Oh, you put this guy up here? Oh, I bet Dora.
That guy. No, I just put him up there.
You did?
That guy is James Hetfield.
Yes, I know, but it's hot.
We got him. We got him for Christmas.
I do. I know that.
One of our loyal villagers. We are coming to the close of Essentials Week, where we take essential metal songs to get our essential metal credentials. This is Skunk Anansie, I think, is the name of the band, and the name of the song is Charlie Big Potato.
Very curious sounding.
Are you strange?
I have no idea.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up in Middle America with Vin and Sori, and that's also where we do. If there's a political topic that warrants a mega discussion, we do it from Middle America. If there is just chill time, we do it from this channel.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, if you don't subscribe and you miss a live stream where we hang out, we don't hang out for 8 minutes. We hang out for 2 hours.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's true.
So, there you are, dear listener.
Hey, we had one of those Sori picks. Yeah, here it is. Todd.
The big homie.
Here's the big homie, Todd. Did you read where was he when he took this picture? Because I want to know where I've been.
Right, you got to tell us where you are. If you want some Vin and Sori love as far as getting featured in a video, all you have to do is get yourself a Sori Secret shirt, or maybe a Middle America shirt.
Any of our gear. You get a mug, for crying out loud. You just take a picture of yourself with the mug.
And we'll feature you.
And we'll put you in our film.
Yeah.
We'll even say your name if you want us to.
For sure, for sure.
Anyway, well, let's see how this is.
Well, what's interesting is, speaking of shirts,
what?
This is from the big homie Jay the Spirited.
Yeah.
It's actually in my roster. I actually like this shirt.
Yep.
I like the cut. I like the way it fits me.
Yep. Nice bright red color. I actually ordered one of those too.
Very much appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so this is Skunk Anansie and Charlie Big Potato. Let's do it.
Whoa. And go.
To the sordid truth. Tell them. Tell it like it is. Tell them.
Oh,
That young lady's voice is very unique.
yes.
It's very, very smooth.
Yep.
And I liked the fact that she was able to express deep emotion without having to go Cookie Monster. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and obviously no disrespect to Ginger, but it's sort of like, and you know, this is the only song I've heard from them, so maybe she does death vocals somewhere else, but it's kind of like in metal, like, everybody gets stuck in this rut of like doing clean vocals, and then if you're not going to do clean vocals, then you go to Cookie Monster stuff. And
Well, not cookie.
well, rah, rah, rah,
Yeah.
it's Cookie Monster, you know? And so I appreciate that she was, at least on this song, she's like, nope, I've got a voice and I'm gonna use my voice, and you know, she played around with it, you know, throughout the song, but she didn't go into, I was waiting for the death vocals to happen and they never happened, and I was very surprised by that. You know, vocally, you know, her voice is almost another instrument in the band because it's so it's smooth. A couple people, I was listening to, there's something that struck me one time in American Idol. I was listening to it years ago, and one of the judges said that your voice is as smooth as butter, which is kind of like a throwaway line, but it always stuck with me. Like, there's some vocalists, their vocal style is just really, really smooth, and I'm glad that at least on this song it didn't go there. Sonically, as far as the rest of the band goes, like, I'm not mad at them, but there was nothing really that jumped out to me as far as the instrumentation. I just think sometimes when you have a vocalist that's that gifted, that you're gonna work to feature the vocalist. So it doesn't mean that the band only comes up with, you know, stale generic riffs or whatever.
I liked them.
Well, I'm not saying, I mean, I'm going to give them a high score. I like them. I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just saying there's nothing really that stuck out to me as far as the instrumentation where I was like, oh.
I liked it, the way that they would play, and then also when they'd go into that part and they were like that. And I liked her voice. I liked the way that she was, you know, the lengths that she took her voice to. I really enjoyed, and I agree with you. It was very smooth. Although the whole time I felt very, very nervous because I felt like this was, I'm not completely sure what this song is about, but it didn't look good, and it was like, I don't know if it was about two kids and abuse that they suffered at home is kind of what it seemed like, which just made me very, very nervous and feel upset stomach. So I was like nervous through the whole thing. I was like, oh no.
And you're waiting for the well, what's interesting, okay, so this explains a couple things to me, like the gear that some of those guys were wearing was like very nu metal-y. And this song came out in 1999, which was like the pinnacle of the nu metal era. So that that explains that. So okay, so this is a new metal song. Okay. I agree with you, and of course, the name of the record is Post-Orgasmic Chill. So it's, you know, if you let the Freudian implications of that dominate the song or the record, then, you know, obviously, I'm not.
I also thought like the way that she was moving herself and like different things, different poses that she took seemed to me like it was kind of telling that same story.
Yeah. I thought she was really smart with the way that she said a lone brother, a lone sister, a home cover, alone. So a lone brother is 3 separate words, right? A brother who's by himself, but it also means alone. The brother's alone and the sister's alone.
Yeah.
But it seems to me.
What's a home cover though? I didn't see how that was a double.
Well.
I didn't even actually understand what that means.
Well.
Like they're covering up what's going on?
Well, I think a home cover simply means that the picture of a home and the family and a functional family is the cover for all the craziness that's actually happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is happening. And something inappropriate happened, and she's saying, tell the sort of truth. Tell it like it is. Tell the sort of truth. Go ahead.
This part famously broke the hard girl. Good to please. I don't know. Oof.
Why? What about it?
I don't know. I don't even want to. I feel very uncomfortable speculating about, you know, like was just, you know, different stories of things that I've heard that people go through and, you know, the stuff that's said to them whenever, like, they're in those situations where they're, you know, being molested or whatever. It's just telling them how bad they are or, you know what I mean? Like, things like that. So, like, I don't know, when it said, like...
I also know of a situation where there were 2 kids and they were very young. Both of them were very young. They were like, one was 3 and one was 4, or one was 4 and one was 5. They got exposed to pornography when they were younger, and they had a lot of time alone, and stuff happened, and obviously there's a lot of blame and condemnation, and it's your fault, and it's my fault, and da-da-da-da. And in that situation, I obviously blame the parents. I don't blame either one of the kids.
I don't either.
But, so that could be happening, too.
Oh, but it's
right?
the brother and sister in it?
Well, yeah.
But there was another one.
A lone brother, a lone sister. There is, you know, I don't know who Charlie is. Charlie could be her brother. You know, I'm not sure. I mean,
yeah.
She put the lyrics out there, so, I mean, you know, I agree with you. Like, I don't want to speculate and say this happened to her or this was her experience per se, but the lyrics are there. And all I'm saying is, it doesn't seem that there's another actor here who did anything. It just seems that there's a lot of innuendo, like talking around the situation. You know, watching Blame from my knees, softly done so secretly. You know, I'm awake as Charlie sleeps, a lone brother, a lone sister, a home cover. And, you know, the other thing is that, you know, yeah, so, you know, when those things happen, there's a lot of blame, you know, because I knew the person, you know, I was very close with the person, and there's a lot of condemnation and a lot of, if you get molested by an adult, it's kind of like this adult took advantage of you, and there's a narrative that you can, like, construct around it to where the person can work towards healing. But if it's a situation like in that particular person's situation, it wasn't that an adult did anything to them. It was the adults put them in a situation where they were by themselves with access to pornographic material, and then they started, you know, doing stuff, and then things happened consistently for a while. And so trying to help a person through that is much more difficult because they have you can't say, oh, an adult took advantage of you. It's like, well, I was 3 and he was 4, I was 4 and he was 5. It's just a very, very, very complex. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's just very hard to get that person to, you know, forgive themselves and function, you know, normally.
That's so interesting because, like, I feel I don't hold myself accountable for basically anything like under a certain age. Like if I was like 4,
Right.
I feel like I'd be like, oh man, I was 4, so you know, like I did stuff. I remember doing things when I was 5 that I'm like, yo, I shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I was 5. You know, the stuff that I did when I was older, I have a bigger problem
Yeah,
with.
but the brother sister angle is
Yeah.
used to really torment this. I'm this, I'm that. You
Yeah.
know, like, there's a lot of sexual orientations that people have come to accept now and all that, but that one is still a taboo.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, but I because of the age of the children,
Yeah.
like to me it's not like, you know, probably if you were teenagers you wouldn't do that. But like your kids, and so like I'm saying, like in most circumstances, like people are not really gonna be, but like when you're
yeah.
kids, I mean,
Well, it created a very complex situation because then what ended up happening was they were the only two who knew about it, who shared this experience. So then they got this kind of weird bond, and so the
Yeah.
lines kept getting blurred. So it wasn't like,
Wow.
oh, it happened when you were 4 and 5.
right.
You know, it was, you know.
Wow.
So it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
You know, most sexual assaults, etc., don't get reported, much less those types of situations.
Oh yeah, I mean, who's gonna tell on both their kids?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I don't even think that the cops would say anything about that either. If you had a 3-year, well, I mean, as far as your kid getting in the porn stuff,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
nuts.
but I don't think that they do anything.
Nobody was worried about the legal ramifications. She was just worried. The parent was just worried about the social ramifications. You know, so there was a lot of hey, don't tell anybody this, yada 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 yada, because obviously, you know, there are major, you know, social ramifications to that. So it was just it's a very, very difficult situation, and it's, you know, like we've done a bunch of songs on, you know, we did Daddy, we did, you know, was the I think the Aerosmith song, Janie's Got a Gun. We've done multiple songs about, you know, child molestation and things like that, and you know, but we've never done a song where a brother and a sister are young and they're left alone and then something happens. And that happens in the world. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I haven't heard of it happening very often.
well, that's exactly
so that's probably what makes it more.
right.
Yeah.
That's it, because you haven't heard it happening very often, because that's something that, look, people, it takes a while. Like, there are some people that I've known for years and years, and then eventually, you know, 10 years into a relationship, you find out that they got molested when they were younger. So it takes a while to even talk about that when you're, like, literally the innocent victim.
Yeah.
And of course, I would still consider the both of them are innocent victims,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just, they can't get that in their head that they were actually victims, because they were willing
Jeez.
participants. There was no adult forcing them to do anything, yada yada yada. So it's a
but-
pretty brutal way to live.
You know, we've said it before that sexuality is a awesome thing, but you can like compare it to a box that's only supposed to be opened at a certain time, and when that box gets opened before its time, there are issues that come from that. And I'm
100%.
sure that both of them are still dealing with the issues. And you know,
Yeah.
in some senses, I would counsel them to just say, you know, you might feel certain things, like most people aren't walking around feeling attracted to their siblings. Like, that's not like the majority, I wouldn't think. But in their situation, because it got started when they were so young, that now, like, you can see how there would be some confusion in the mind. So I would say just don't put yourself in those situations with them. But at the same time, you know, I wouldn't like majorly condemn the person for it either, because
I mean, yeah, of course we weren't. I'm trying to be a good friend, and
mean, that's awful, but
immediately,
parents-
anytime you hear about a kid and sex and young age, you immediately go, "Oh my God, you know, da 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 da, you survived, da 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 da, you're clean, you're this, you're that." But because of all the social stigmas around it, and you hear it, and when people talk, you know, it's kind of like when you're around your evangelical friend. You know, I'm sure I've done that too, where you know, the word faggot gets thrown around and this and that and all that. And then we were at a Bible study one time, and brought up this gay guy or whatever, and we were all, and the Bible study leader was like, okay, so if somebody here is gay, they're definitely not going to say a word to any of you guys.
Yep.
And it was like, whoa, it was like the first time, the person that said it too would surprise you. The person that like called us all out on it would surprise you.
Really?
Yeah, it's H. He did.
Oh, really?
He basically was like, hey, great. So if somebody here is gay, then nobody's gonna say anything to anybody. So good job, guys. And it was really one of the first times I really, really thought about that happened like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. This was one of the first times I thought about how we treat the LGBT community. But, they've made a lot of pathways for themselves to carve out, hey, we exist and, hey, we deserve to live and all that. But folks who, I started researching it because I'm like, man, how do I help this person? And then it turned, the closest I came was this thing called GSA, genetic sexual attraction. And what ends up happening is it's people that were separated, okay, like at birth or,
Were both of these people like
Small
blood,
kids.
same parents, same father, same mother?
One was half, they were half brothers.
Yeah, and so that's another angle of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't condone that type of behavior. Don't get me wrong, but I do think that that's a little bit even more different than just.
It really isn't, because my little brother is my half brother, and there's really no distinction in my mind between my older brother and my little brother. Like, if you grow up with the person from like youth, like you don't.
Yeah.
Especially 3 and 4, there really is no distinction. Like that's your brother.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there were years when I was much closer to my younger brother than my older brother, and he's technically my half brother. It doesn't work. But genetic sexual attraction is when you're together when you're young, you get separated, divorced or something like that, and then you find each other again, and then that's usually what happens. And I'd go into these forums, and I was just like boggled my mind because there were so many of them, and they were sharing, and they were all talking about, some of them were saying this is good, people should leave us alone, but the vast majority of them were saying I can't stop this, da 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 da, and it was brutal. And I kind of felt guilty, but I just completely like I just turned my back on the whole thing because I'm like the thing was just way too big for me, and it was like, the big thing that I got from it was that it happened under the surface, and it happened. They were saying it happens more than. How do you get numbers on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't even get people to admit that they were going to vote for Trump in the last election.
True.
These are like anonymous whatever. So I can just imagine, So it really, like, that moment in the Bible study and then that experience with somebody I love very dearly and going through all that, like, really made me say, like, okay, I've got to be really, really careful about how I talk about any sexual sort of, orientation or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because, it's a tough thing. So I my mind went to that particular situation, because again, I'm not seeing that an adult is involved here,
Yeah.
Although, dry the scream, spit the vile breath till my tongue bleeds, thinks it's all gone, famously broke the hard girl, good to please, but then it goes right to a lone brother, a lone sister, which both of them were pretty much locked into being alone, because but it's that weird thing where you create this, bonds that get created in shared suffering are very, very strong. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if it is about that, very, very brave of her to write that. If it's not about that, it's probably something that we should have addressed anyway. But we've never had the occasion.
Well, she said, tell it like it is. Tell them. And
tell the sordid truth.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Maybe it was time for confession. You know?
But really, what it comes down to is I love if that's what we're talking about here. I'm very glad that she ends it with a lone brother, lone sister at home, cover alone, because why are these kids alone?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, you don't have to be crazy like us and like homeschool your kids and take them all over the place.
Yeah.
And you know, we're with everybody almost 24/7. Like, you don't need to do that, but you know, having a bunch of little kids like unsupervised and you know that type of shit is in your house, like, what the fuck? Like, how could you leave kids like that unsupervised?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm probably, you know, I've never really been able to talk about that situation, you know. And I obviously needed some distance from it. You know,
Yeah.
but it'll really screw with you, that's for sure. And again, just the title of the record, you know, like, because you can imagine that individual had some really intense sexual hang-ups, you know. On my, you know, so it's Charlie Big Potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other thing is like Charlie Big Potato sounds like something a little kid would say. You know what I mean? Especially like the name Charlie is mentioned. I'm awake as Charlie sleeps.
Yeah.
And then Charlie Big Potato. It just sounds like something a kid would say to another kid, and a nickname you'd say to your little brother. And
the post-orgasmic chill was like, ugh, because that feeling like, you know, if you're in a good context and you have an orgasm and everything's good and happy and whatever, but there are some people, I mean, I don't know if it's for everybody, but if the environment's not good for that sexual engagement, there's like a bad feeling that you get after. And so I kind of think that's what she was.
Well, yeah, Freud talked about that a lot. So, you know, tough stuff. Like I said, I don't know, somebody could message us and go, I have nothing to do. Charlie Big
morons,
Potato.
about chocolate. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it was about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you imbeciles. Not everybody can rap, you dimwit. Whoever told you you was nice to begin with. Shout out to Papoose. What do you give the song?
9.7.
You get a solid 9. You don't really see a lot of black ladies in metal like that.
That's what brought it up for me.
I like the band though because it wasn't gimmicky. Like this woman is definitely rock and roll. She definitely is like true cult rock and roll. Like you could tell. It's just she's got her own style. She's got her own thing. Hey, I can sing and my voice is smooth as butter. So I'm gonna dock it up to a 9.2 because I genuinely like the voice. Thank you very much, whoever suggested this song. I think we got one more song left for Essentials Week to close it out, and then we're back to our regular rescheduled program.
Yes.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.